The next 21 days can change your life to better position.
Hi, this is Dr. Julian Vance. I hope this will teach you something today. Dr. Julian Vance has been with you all the way. And always remember, keep learning, keep pushing forward. Who stops reading, stops growing.
Introduction.
Change doesn't happen by accident. It's built step by step, day by day. In a world full of distractions, excuses, and endless waiting for the perfect time, this book is your call to action. Over the next 21 days, you'll learn how to break free from old habits, build unstoppable momentum, and create a version of yourself you once thought impossible. This isn't about quick fixes or empty motivation. It's about a clear plan, proven strategies, and the discipline to follow through. Whether you're seeking physical transformation, mental strength, or a complete life reset, the journey starts now. All you have to do is take the first step and keep going. Chapter 1: The Decision to Begin. The moment everything changes. There exists a precise moment in every person's life when everything shifts. It's not marked by fanfare or celebration. There are no cameras rolling, no audience applauding. It happens in the quiet space between one breath and the next, when you finally say the words that will reshape your entire existence. I am done living this way. This moment is sacred. It's the birth of your transformation, and like all births, it requires courage, commitment, and an unwavering belief that what comes next will be worth the struggle. The decision to begin genuine change isn't made lightly, nor should it be. It's forged in the crucible of honest self-reflection and powered by a deep, almost primal desire to become who you were always meant to be. Change doesn't begin when you start following a new routine or adopt new habits. Change begins the moment you make an unshakable decision that your current reality is no longer acceptable. Everything else is simply implementation. The anatomy of decision. What separates those who successfully transform their lives from those who remain stuck in cycles of good intentions is the quality of their initial decision. Most people confuse wishing with deciding. They say they want to change, but what they really mean is they hope change will somehow happen to them. True decision cuts through hope like a sword through silk. When you make a real decision, you burn the boats. You eliminate the possibility of retreat not because retreat is physically impossible, but because retreat becomes psychologically unthinkable. The word decision comes from the Latin addecidere, which means to cut off. Every genuine decision cuts off alternative possibilities and channels all your energy into a single direction. Think about the most successful transformation you've ever witnessed, either in your own life or in someone else's. I guarantee it began with a moment of absolute clarity where retreat was no longer an option. The alcoholic who finally gets sober doesn't hope to quit drinking. They decide they will never drink again. The entrepreneur who builds a successful business doesn't hope to make money. They decide failure is not an option. This is the first and most crucial distinction you must understand. Hoping for change keeps you powerless, while deciding to change makes you unstoppable. The pre-decision phase. Before you can make an authentic decision to change, you must first conduct an honest inventory of your current situation. This isn't about judgment or self-criticism. It's about clarity. You cannot navigate to where you want to go if you refuse to acknowledge where you are. Most people avoid this step because it requires them to confront uncomfortable truths about their lives. They've been telling themselves stories to justify their current situation, and examining those stories too closely threatens the comfortable illusions they've built. But transformation requires truth, and truth often comes with temporary discomfort. Ask yourself these fundamental questions and demand honest answers. What aspects of your life are you genuinely satisfied with? What areas cause you frustration, disappointment, or regret? If you continue on your current trajectory for the next 5 years, where will you end up? Are you proud of that destination? The answers to these questions form the foundation of your decision to change. They create what psychologists call creative tension, the gap between your current reality and your desired future. This tension is uncomfortable, but it's also the fuel that will power your transformation over the next 21 days and beyond. Identifying your change catalyst. Every meaningful transformation has a catalyst, a specific moment, realization, or experience that makes staying the same more painful than changing. For some, it's looking in the mirror and not recognizing the person staring back. For others, it's the realization that they're living someone else's life instead of their own. Sometimes it's as simple as watching their children and understanding they're modeling behaviors they don't want to pass on. Your catalyst is deeply personal and uniquely yours. It might be dramatic or subtle, but it must be authentic. Borrowed motivation doesn't last. You can't change because your spouse wants you to, because your friends think you should, or because society expects it. Those external pressures might get you started, but they won't sustain you through the inevitable challenges ahead. Spend time identifying your personal catalyst. What is it about your current situation that you absolutely cannot continue to accept? What would have to happen for you to look back and regret at a life half-lived? Your catalyst doesn't have to be negative. It might be a compelling vision of who you could become or what you could achieve. The key is that it must resonate so deeply within you that walking away becomes impossible. Once you've identified your catalyst, write it down. Be specific. Be emotional. Be honest. This written statement will serve as your anchor during the difficult days ahead. When motivation wanes and old patterns try to reassert themselves, you'll return to this catalyst and remember why you started this journey. The psychology of commitment. Making a decision is only the first step. Maintaining that decision requires understanding the psychology of commitment. Your brain is wired to maintain consistency with your identity and beliefs. This can work for you or against you, depending on how skillfully you leverage this psychological principle. When you make a public commitment to change, you activate what psychologists call commitment and consistency bias. Your mind now has a stake in proving that your decision was right. This is why successful programs often include some form of public declaration or accountability partnership. You're not just changing your behavior, you're defending your identity as someone who keeps their word. However, commitment goes deeper than social pressure. True commitment aligns your conscious decision with your unconscious programming. This happens when you can articulate not just what you're going to change, but why this change is inevitable given who you really are at your core. Instead of saying, "I'm going to try to exercise more," you say, "I am someone who treats my body with respect and care." Instead of, "I hope to be more confident," you declare, "I am someone who believes in my own worth and acts accordingly." These identity-based commitments are far more powerful than behavior-based goals because they tap into your fundamental need for self-consistency. Removing the escape routes. One of the most self-sabotaging things you can do when committing to change is to leave yourself escape routes. These are the mental loopholes you create that allow you to abandon your commitment when things get difficult. They sound like reasonable contingency plans, but they're actually permission slips for failure. Common escape routes include phrases like, "I'll see how it goes," "I'll do my best," or "I'll try for a while, and if it doesn't work out." These seemingly harmless qualifiers are actually commitment killers. They signal to your unconscious mind that failure is an acceptable option, and whatever the mind considers acceptable, it will eventually choose. Removing escape routes doesn't mean being rigid or ignoring genuine obstacles. It means committing to finding a way forward regardless of what challenges arise. When you encounter setbacks, and you will, your only option is to adjust your strategy, not abandon your commitment. This mindset shift from, "What if this doesn't work?" to "How will I make this work?" is transformative. It changes you from a passenger hoping for a good outcome to a driver taking full responsibility for reaching your destination. The power of specificity. Vague commitments produce vague results. If you want to create lasting change, your decision must be specific, measurable, and time-bound. "I want to be healthier" is not a decision, it's a wish. "I will exercise for 30 minutes every morning and eat a nutritious breakfast before 9 a.m. for the next 21 days is a decision. Specificity serves multiple psychological functions. First, it eliminates decision fatigue. When you've already decided exactly what you'll do, and when you'll do it, you don't have to waste mental energy making those choices in the moment. Second, specificity makes it impossible to fool yourself about whether you're following through. Either you did it or you didn't. There's no gray area. Third, specific commitments engage what psychologists call implementation intentions. These are pre-planned responses to anticipated situations that dramatically increase your likelihood of success. Instead of relying on willpower in the moment, you've already decided how you'll respond to specific circumstances. As you craft your specific commitment, include not just what you'll do, but when, where, and how you'll do it. Address the most likely obstacles in your planned responses. This level of detail might seem excessive, but it's the difference between hoping for change and engineering it. Mindset architecture. Your mindset is the invisible architecture that supports all your visible behaviors. Before you can successfully change what you do, you must first examine and potentially reconstruct how you think. Most people try to change their actions while leaving their limiting beliefs intact, which is like trying to grow healthy plants in toxic soil. The mindset that got you to your current situation is not the mindset that will get you to where you want to go. This isn't about positive thinking or affirmations. It's about fundamentally shifting how you interpret reality and your place in it. Begin by identifying the beliefs that have kept you stuck. These might include thoughts like, I don't have enough willpower, change is too hard for someone like me, or I always start strong but never finish. These beliefs aren't facts. They're interpretations based on past experiences. And interpretations can be changed. Replace limiting beliefs with empowering ones, but make sure your new beliefs are both inspiring and believable. If you currently believe you have no willpower, jumping to I have unlimited willpower might create cognitive dissonance. Instead, try I am developing stronger willpower every day, or I have more willpower than I've been giving myself credit for. The identity shift. The most profound changes happen not when you change what you do, but when you change who you are. Identity is the deepest level of change, and it's also the most sustainable. When your actions align with your identity, they feel natural and effortless. When they conflict with your identity, they require constant willpower and eventually fail. This is why focusing solely on outcomes is ineffective. If you see yourself as an overweight person trying to lose weight, you'll unconsciously sabotage your efforts to maintain consistency with that identity. But if you see yourself as a healthy person who temporarily gained weight, losing that weight becomes inevitable. Your identity is not fixed. It's simply a collection of stories you tell yourself about who you are, stories that were formed by past experiences and decisions. Since you created these stories, you can rewrite them. The question is not whether you can change your identity. You're already constantly reinforcing or evolving it with every choice you make. The question is whether you'll do it consciously or unconsciously. During these 21 days, you're not just changing behaviors. You're becoming the type of person who naturally engages in those behaviors. Every time you follow through on your commitment, you're casting a vote for your new identity. Every time you choose the new behavior over the old one, you're strengthening the neural pathways that make that behavior automatic. Dealing with doubt. Doubt is not the enemy of change. Paralysis is. Doubt is actually a sign that you're taking your commitment seriously enough to consider potential challenges. The goal is not to eliminate doubt, but to move forward despite it. Most people wait for doubt to disappear before taking action, but this is backwards thinking. Confidence comes from competence, and competence comes from action. You don't act because you're confident. You become confident because you act. Every time you keep a commitment to yourself despite feeling uncertain, you prove to yourself that you're someone who can be trusted to follow through. When doubt arises, examine it objectively. Is it based on a real obstacle that needs to be addressed, or is it your mind trying to talk you out of discomfort? Most doubt is just your comfort zone trying to maintain the status quo. Acknowledge it, thank it for trying to keep you safe, and then take action anyway. Remember that doubt is temporary, but the regret of not trying lasts much longer. You can handle 21 days of discomfort much better than you can handle a lifetime of wondering, what if? The ripple effect. When you make a genuine decision to change one area of your life, it creates ripple effects in every other area. This happens because all aspects of your life are interconnected, and more importantly, because change at the identity level touches everything you do. As you become someone who keeps commitments to themselves, you'll naturally start keeping commitments to others more consistently. As you develop discipline in one area, that discipline will spill over into other areas. As you prove to yourself that you can change, you'll become more open to other positive changes. This ripple effect is why 21 days of focused change can be more transformative than years of half-hearted attempts. You're not just changing one habit, you're becoming a person who changes, who grows, who evolves intentionally. This new identity will continue serving you long after these 21 days are complete. The science of neural plasticity. Your brain is not fixed. This simple fact revolutionizes everything we know about human potential. For most of human history, scientists believed that adult brains were essentially unchangeable. We now know that your brain continues forming new neural pathways throughout your entire life in response to your thoughts, experiences, and actions. This neuroplasticity means that every time you choose the new behavior over the old one, you're literally rewiring your brain. The old neural pathways that supported your previous habits don't disappear immediately, but they weaken from lack of use. Meanwhile, the new pathways grow stronger with each repetition. Understanding this process helps you maintain perspective during difficult moments. When choosing the new behavior feels hard, remember that this difficulty is temporary. You're not fighting your nature, you're evolving it. Each choice is making the next choice easier by strengthening the neural pathways that support your new identity. The compound effect of decision. Your decision to change is not a single event. It's a commitment you'll remake multiple times over the next 21 days. Some days it will feel easy and natural. Other days it will require every ounce of determination you possess. This is not a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that you're human. The compound effect means that each individual decision to honor your commitment builds upon all the previous decisions. The first few days might feel like you're pushing a boulder up a hill, but momentum is accumulating even when you can't feel it. By the end of 21 days, you'll have created enough momentum that continuing will feel easier than stopping. This is why consistency matters more than intensity. It's better to make a smaller commitment that you can maintain daily than a dramatic commitment that you abandon after a week. Each day you follow through adds another layer to your new identity and strengthens your belief in your ability to change. Creating your decision statement. Now comes the moment of truth. Everything you've read so far has been preparation for this crucial step, creating your personal decision statement. This is not a goal or a resolution. It's a declaration of who you are choosing to become. Your decision statement should be written in present tense, as if the change has already occurred. It should be specific enough to guide daily actions, but flexible enough to accommodate the inevitable adjustments you'll make along the way. Most importantly, it should resonate so deeply with your authentic self that reading it fills you with both excitement and determination. Write your statement by hand, not on a computer or phone. There's something powerful about the physical act of writing that engages different parts of your brain and creates stronger emotional connection. Keep it somewhere you'll see it daily: your bathroom mirror, your car dashboard, your phone's home screen. Your decision statement is your North Star for the next 21 days. When motivation fades, when old patterns try to reassert themselves, when doubt creeps in, you'll return to this statement and remember not just what you decided to do, but who you decided to become. The point of no return. You now stand at a threshold. Behind you lies the familiar territory of your current life, comfortable perhaps, but no longer acceptable. Ahead lies the unknown territory of who you could become, uncertain perhaps, but filled with possibility. This is your point of no return, not because you can't physically go back, but because you now possess something that will forever change how you see yourself, the knowledge that you have the power to consciously evolve your own life. Once you truly understand this, settling for less becomes psychologically impossible. The decision to begin is just that, the beginning. The real work starts tomorrow and continues for the next 20 days. But you've now done the most important thing. You've decided. You've cut off the alternative of staying the same. You've committed to finding out who you really are when you stop accepting limitations as permanent. Everything that follows, the daily actions, the small victories, the temporary setbacks, the gradual transformation, all of it flows from this single moment of decision. You are no longer someone who hopes to change someday. You are someone who has decided to change now. The journey begins with your next breath. Chapter 2: Building Momentum. The first week of any transformation journey is both your greatest opportunity and your biggest challenge. It's the critical window where dreams either crystallize into reality or dissolve into another, maybe next time story. This chapter will equip you with the tools to not just survive your first week, but to use it as a launching pad for sustained change that extends far beyond these initial 21 days. The science of momentum. Momentum isn't just a motivational buzzword. It's a psychological and neurological reality. When you begin a new habit, your brain creates new neural pathways. These pathways are fragile at first, like footpaths through fresh snow. Each time you repeat the behavior, you deepen the groove, making it easier to follow the same path tomorrow. This is why the first week is so crucial. You're literally rewiring your brain for success. Research from MIT shows that habit formation occurs in a neurological loop involving a cue, a routine, and a reward. During the first week, this loop is being established. Your brain is learning to anticipate the reward and begins to crave the routine that leads to it. This is why some people report feeling off when they miss their new morning workout or meditation session after just a few days. Their brain has already begun to expect it. But here's what most people don't understand about momentum. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. A small action performed daily will always outperform a grand gesture attempted once. The person who does 5 push-ups every morning for a week has built more momentum than someone who does a 2-hour workout once and then burns out. Creating your daily foundation. The cornerstone of building momentum lies in establishing what I call your daily foundation, a set of non-negotiable actions that anchor your day and reinforce your commitment to change. These aren't your stretch goals or your ambitious dreams. They're the bedrock behaviors that will carry you through both motivated and unmotivated days. Your daily foundation should consist of 3 to 5 specific actions that directly support your larger transformation goal. If you're working toward better health, your foundation might include drinking a glass of water upon waking, taking a 10-minute walk, and eating 1 piece of fruit. If you're building a creative practice, it might involve opening your notebook, writing 3 sentences, and reading for 15 minutes. The key is specificity and simplicity. Exercise more is not a foundation element. Walk around a block after breakfast is. Be more positive is too vague. Write down 1 thing I'm grateful for before bed creates a clear action you can track and celebrate. Each element of your daily foundation should pass the sick day test. Could you still do this even when you're feeling under weather? If the answer is no, scale it down until it passes. Remember, we're building momentum, not testing our limits. The first 3 days, riding the wave. The initial 72 hours of your change journey operate on pure enthusiasm and willpower. This is your honeymoon period, and while it won't last, it's incredibly valuable if you use it strategically. During these first 3 days, your job is to establish the rhythm and remove as much friction as possible from your new behaviors. Preparation is everything. Before you even begin, eliminate the barriers that might derail you. If you want to start meditating, download the app, find your spot, and set out a cushion. If you're changing your diet, clear out tempting foods and stock up on healthy alternatives. If you're building an exercise routine, lay out your workout clothes and prepare your space. Use this high-energy period to front-load your success. Do your research, gather your tools, and create systems that will support you when motivation wanes. This is also the time to tell supportive people about your commitment. Their encouragement will become crucial fuel in the days ahead. Document everything during these first 3 days. Take photos, write in a journal, record voice notes. You're creating evidence of your capability that you can return to when doubt creeps in later. One woman I worked with took a selfie after each workout during her first week. When she wanted to quit on day 12, scrolling through those photos reminded her of the person she was becoming. Days 4 through 7, the first resistance. By day 4, the novelty has worn off. Your brain has experienced the new routine enough times to realize this isn't just a temporary experiment. This is an actual change. This is when the first wave of resistance typically hits. You might wake up with less enthusiasm, find more excuses, or feel like the new behaviors are taking too much effort for too little reward. This resistance is not a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that you're succeeding. It means your brain recognizes that real change is happening and is doing what brains do, trying to conserve energy by pulling you back to familiar patterns. Understanding this makes you prepared instead of defeated when it happens. During this phase, lean heavily on your daily foundation. When motivation is low, don't try to exceed your minimum commitments. Instead, focus solely on maintaining your baseline behaviors. If your foundation includes a 20-minute walk but you only feel like 5 minutes, do 5 minutes. If you committed to writing 1 page but can only manage 1 paragraph, write 1 paragraph. The goal is to keep the chain unbroken, not to set records. This is also when your environment becomes crucial. Have you set up your space to support your new habits? Are your running shoes by the door? Is your journal on your nightstand? Are healthy snacks visible while junk food is hidden? Small environmental adjustments can provide the gentle nudge you need when internal motivation falters. Energy management over time management. Most people approach habit change through the lens of time management, fitting new behaviors into their existing schedule. But successful transformation requires energy management, ensuring you have the mental and physical resources to sustain new behaviors even when life gets complicated. Energy is finite but renewable. Unlike time, which moves at a constant pace, your energy ebbs and flows throughout the day and week. Understanding your personal energy patterns allows you to schedule your most important new behaviors during your peak periods and create lighter alternatives for low-energy times. Are you naturally energetic in the morning? Do you come alive in the evening? Do you feel focused after meals or drained? Do you have more mental clarity at the beginning of the week, or do you build steam as the weekend approaches? Pay attention to these patterns and align your daily foundation accordingly. Create what I call energy anchors, specific activities that reliably boost your energy and mood. These might include listening to particular music, spending time in nature, calling a supportive friend, or doing breathing exercises. When you feel your momentum flagging, you can consciously deploy these anchors to restore your energy for the behaviors that matter most. Also recognize your energy drains, activities, people, or situations that consistently deplete your resources. While you can't eliminate all drains from your life, you can become strategic about when you engage with them and how you recover afterward. The motivation myth. Here's a truth that might surprise you. Motivation is not the key to building lasting habits. In fact, relying on motivation is one of the fastest ways to abandon your goals. Motivation is an emotion, and like all emotions, it's temporary and unreliable. What you need instead is a system that works regardless of how you feel. The most successful people I've worked with don't wake up excited about their habits every day. Instead, they've created structures, routines, and identities that make their desired behaviors almost automatic. They've moved beyond motivation to what psychologists call implementation, the practical systems that ensure things get done. This is why your daily foundation is so important. When motivation is high, you'll naturally want to do more than the minimum. When motivation is low, you fall back on your foundation instead of falling apart entirely. The foundation becomes your safety net, ensuring that even your worst days contribute to your progress. Replace "I'll do it when I feel motivated" with "I'll do it because it's who I am." This identity-based approach to change is far more powerful than relying on fluctuating emotions. You're not someone trying to exercise more, you're someone who moves their body daily. You're not attempting to be more organized, you're someone who values order and acts accordingly. Troubleshooting common week 1 challenges. Even with the best preparation, the first week will present obstacles. Here are the most common challenges and how to navigate them. The perfectionist trap. You miss a day or perform below your own standards and feel like you failed. Remember that consistency trumps perfection. One missed day is data, not defeat. Get back on track immediately rather than waiting for Monday or next month to start over. The overcommitment syndrome. You're excited about change and add too many new behaviors at once, overwhelming your willpower. Pare back to your essential daily foundation. It's better to succeed at 3 small changes than to fail at 10 ambitious ones. The comparison spiral. You see others making faster progress or achieving bigger results and feel inadequate. Focus on your own journey. Everyone starts from a different place and progresses at their own pace. Your only competition is who you were yesterday. The support deficit. You realize you're trying to change in isolation and feel lonely or unmotivated. Seek out communities, accountability partners, or professional support. Change is easier when you're not doing it alone. The reward delay. You're putting in effort but don't see immediate results, leading to discouragement. Trust the process. Most meaningful changes show up weeks or months after the behaviors that created them. Focus on celebrating the process, not just the outcomes. Building your personal momentum multipliers. By the end of week 1, you want to have identified what I call your momentum multipliers, specific strategies, tools, or practices that amplify your progress and make subsequent weeks easier. These are unique to each individual and emerge from paying attention to what works best for your personality, lifestyle, and goals. Some people discover that morning momentum carries them through the entire day, while others find evening routines set them up for success tomorrow. Some thrive on tracking and measuring everything, while others prefer a more intuitive approach. Some need social accountability, while others prefer private commitment. During your first week, experiment with different approaches and notice what energizes versus drains you. Does listening to podcasts during your workout make it more enjoyable? Does preparing healthy snacks on Sunday eliminate weekday decision fatigue? Does checking items off a visible list provide satisfying reinforcement? Your momentum multipliers become part of your toolkit for long-term success. They're the secret weapons you deploy when motivation is low, when life gets stressful, or when you need to get back on track after a setback. The compound effect of small wins. The magic of the first week isn't in the dramatic changes you'll see, it's in the compound effect of small wins building upon each other. Each time you follow through on a commitment to yourself, you're making a deposit in your self-trust account. Each time you choose the hard thing over the easy thing, you're strengthening your decision-making muscle. These small wins create what psychologists call self-efficacy, the belief that you're capable of achieving your goals. This belief becomes self-reinforcing. Success breeds confidence. Confidence enables bigger challenges, and bigger challenges lead to greater success. Document your small wins throughout the first week. Did you resist the urge to skip your morning routine? Win. Did you choose the healthy snack over the convenient one? Win. Did you maintain your bedtime even when a show was tempting you to stay up late? Win. These moments might seem insignificant individually, but collectively they're reshaping your identity and capabilities, setting the stage for week 2 and beyond. As your first week draws to a close, you're not just celebrating 7 days of new behaviors, you're graduating from the initiation phase into the sustainability phase of change. Week 1 was about proving to yourself that change is possible. Week 2 and beyond is about proving that change can last. Use your final day of week 1 to reflect and adjust. What worked better than expected? What was more challenging than anticipated? What would you do differently? This isn't about judgment or criticism. It's about gathering intelligence that will make you more effective going forward. Consider this first week as your laboratory. You've been experimenting with new behaviors, testing your systems, and learning about your patterns. The data you've gathered is invaluable for optimizing your approach and building momentum that will carry you not just through 21 days, but through the months and years of growth that lie ahead. The foundation you've built this week, your daily practices, your understanding of your energy patterns, your collection of small wins, these become the launching pad for everything that follows. You've proven that change is possible. Now it's time to prove that it's sustainable. Remember, momentum isn't about speed. It's about consistency. It's not about perfection. It's about persistence. And it's not about motivation. It's about identity. You've spent this week not just changing what you do, but beginning to change who you are. That's the real power of momentum. It doesn't just move you forward, it transforms you in the process. As you prepare to enter week 2, carry with you the confidence that comes from a week of kept promises to yourself. You've built something powerful in these 7 days. Now it's time to see just how far it can take you. Chapter 3, The Midway Test, Conquering the Storm, The Inevitable Wall. You've made it to day 10, maybe day 12. The initial excitement has worn off. That surge of motivation that carried you through the first week feels like a distant memory. Your new habits feel forced. Your old patterns are calling louder than ever, and every part of you wants to return to familiar territory. Welcome to the midway test, the most crucial phase of any transformation journey. This isn't a design flaw in your willpower. It's not evidence that you're weak or that change isn't meant for you. What you're experiencing is the predictable rebellion of a brain that's being asked to rewire itself. Understanding this process is your first weapon against it. The human brain is extraordinarily efficient at creating neural pathways for repeated behaviors. When you've done something the same way for months or years, your brain has built superhighways of automatic response. Now you're asking it to carve new paths through dense forest while those old highways remain perfectly functional. Your brain, being the energy conservative organ it is, will resist this inefficiency with everything it has. The anatomy of mental blocks. Mental blocks during the midway point typically manifest in several predictable ways. The first is what psychologists call decision fatigue. Every time you choose your new behavior over your old one, you're making a conscious decision that requires mental energy. By day 10, you've burned through much of your decision-making reserves, and your brain starts defaulting to automatic patterns. The second common block is the progress plateau illusion. In the beginning, every small step felt significant because the contrast was so stark. Now your improvements feel incremental, almost invisible. Your brain, which craves novelty and reward, starts questioning whether the effort is worth it. This is particularly dangerous because it often strikes just before major breakthroughs would naturally occur. The third block is what I call comfort zone magnetism. Your old habits weren't just behaviors. They were coping mechanisms, stress relievers, and sources of immediate gratification. As life's regular stresses continue during your change process, the pull toward these familiar comforts intensifies. Your brain remembers exactly how good that old pattern felt and conveniently forgets why you wanted to change in the first place. Reframing resistance as progress. The intensity of your resistance is actually a measure of how much real change is happening. A weak challenge would produce weak resistance. The fact that you're struggling means you're not just playing at change, you're engaged in genuine transformation. Your brain's rebellion is proof that you're successfully disrupting deeply embedded patterns. Think of resistance like the turbulence an airplane experiences when breaking through cloud layers. The turbulence isn't a sign that the plane is failing. It's evidence that it's moving through different atmospheric conditions on its way to clearer skies. Your internal turbulence signals that you're transitioning between old and new versions of yourself. Professional athletes understand this principle intimately. They know that muscle growth happens during the breakdown and repair cycle, not during the comfortable periods. Similarly, psychological and behavioral growth happens during these periods of tension and discomfort. The question isn't whether you'll face resistance, but how you'll respond to it when it arrives. The strategic response to setbacks. When setbacks occur, and they will, your response in the first few hours determines whether they become temporary detours or permanent derailments. The most damaging response is what researchers call catastrophic thinking, interpreting a single lapse as evidence of complete failure. Instead, develop what I call the scientist mindset. When you slip back into an old pattern, approach it with curiosity rather than judgment. What were the circumstances? What emotions were present? What environmental factors contributed? This information isn't ammunition for self-criticism. It's data for improvement. Create a setback protocol in advance. Write down exactly what you'll do when you inevitably face a challenging moment. This might include calling a specific person, reviewing your original motivation, or engaging in a particular physical activity. Having a predetermined response removes the need for willpower-dependent decision-making in vulnerable moments. Remember that setbacks often contain seeds of breakthrough. They reveal weaknesses in your system that you can address proactively. A person trying to establish a morning exercise routine who skips workout after workout might discover that the real issue isn't motivation but going to bed too late. The setback illuminates the deeper pattern that needs addressing. Discipline versus motivation. Understanding the difference. Motivation is an emotion, powerful but unreliable. It surges and retreats based on circumstances, mood, and energy levels. Discipline, on the other hand, is a system, a set of structures and processes that function regardless of how you feel in any given moment. During the midway test, your motivation will fluctuate wildly. Some days you'll feel energized and committed, others you'll question everything. This is normal and expected. The mistake most people make is waiting for motivation to return before taking action. Successful change happens when you build systems that work even when motivation is absent. Discipline isn't about forcing yourself through misery. It's about creating conditions that make good choices easier and bad choices harder. If you're trying to eat healthier, discipline might mean removing tempting foods from your house, not heroically resisting them every day. If you're building a reading habit, discipline might mean placing a book on your pillow each morning so it's the first thing you see when you go to bed. The most effective discipline strategies work with your psychology rather than against it. They acknowledge that willpower is limited and design systems that minimize the need for it. This is why successful people often seem effortless in their good habits. They've created environments and routines that make those habits the path of least resistance. Environmental design for success. Your environment is constantly influencing your behavior, often in ways you don't consciously recognize. During the vulnerable midway period, intentional environmental design becomes crucial for maintaining progress. Start by conducting an environmental audit. Walk through your typical day and identify every cue that might trigger your old patterns. These could be physical objects, locations, times of day, or even digital environments like specific apps or websites. Then systematically modify or remove as many of these triggers as possible. Equally important is creating positive cues for your new behaviors. If you're building a meditation practice, create a specific physical space associated only with that activity. Include visual reminders, comfortable seating, and anything else that makes the practice more appealing and accessible. The goal is to reduce the activation energy required for good choices while increasing it for poor ones. Social environment matters just as much as physical environment. Spend time with people who embody the changes you're trying to make. Their attitudes, conversations, and daily choices will subtly influence your own. If such people aren't currently in your life, seek them out through communities, classes, or online groups focused on your area of change. The power of identity reinforcement. Perhaps the most powerful strategy for navigating the midway test involves shifting your focus from behavior change to identity change. Instead of saying, "I'm trying to exercise regularly," start saying, "I'm becoming someone who prioritizes physical health." This subtle shift moves you from attempting to do something different to becoming someone different. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you want to become. When you're tired and want to skip your new habit, frame the decision in identity terms. What would someone who has successfully made this change do in this situation? Often, this perspective provides clarity that purely behavioral thinking cannot. Identity-based change is more sustainable because it aligns your actions with your self-concept rather than fighting against it. When your identity shifts, behaviors that once required enormous effort become natural expressions of who you are. A person who identifies as someone who reads regularly doesn't need to force themselves to pick up books. Reading becomes as natural as breathing. Start collecting evidence of your new identity. Keep a record of every time you choose the new behavior over the old one. Celebrate small wins not just as achievements, but as proof that you're becoming the person you want to be. This evidence accumulates and eventually reaches a tipping point where your new identity feels more real than your old one. Managing emotional storms. The midway point often brings emotional intensity that can derail progress if not handled skillfully. Old emotions associated with your previous patterns may resurface. Anxiety about change, fear of failure, or grief for the familiar life you're leaving behind. All of these are normal parts of the transformation process. Develop emotional regulation skills before you need them. Practice breathing techniques, mindfulness exercises, or physical activities that help you process intense emotions without acting on them destructively. The goal isn't to eliminate difficult emotions, but to experience them without being controlled by them. Create emotional release valves, healthy ways to express and process the intensity of change. This might include journaling, talking with trusted friends, or engaging in creative activities. Bottled up emotions often explode in ways that sabotage progress, so regular emotional maintenance is essential. Remember that emotions, like weather, are temporary. The frustration you feel today will pass. The doubt that seems overwhelming this week will fade. By not making permanent decisions based on temporary emotions, you preserve your progress through inevitable emotional storms. Building your support network. Change happens in community, not in isolation. During the midway test, having people who understand your journey becomes invaluable. These don't need to be people making identical changes, but they should be individuals who support growth and can provide perspective when your own becomes distorted. Identify at least one person you can contact when facing a crisis of commitment. Give this person permission to be honest with you, even when it's not what you want to hear. Sometimes external perspective can see solutions that internal struggle cannot. Consider finding an accountability partner, someone also engaged in meaningful change who can share both struggles and victories. Regular check-ins create external structure that supports internal commitment. Knowing that someone else is counting on you to show up often provides motivation when your own reserves are empty. Don't underestimate the power of professional support when needed. Therapists, coaches, or counselors who specialize in behavior change can provide tools and perspectives that accelerate progress through difficult periods. Investment in professional guidance often pays dividends in faster, more sustainable change. Practical strategies for daily navigation. When facing moment-to-moment challenges, having concrete strategies can make the difference between progress and regression. Develop a toolkit of specific responses you can deploy when temptation strikes or motivation wanes. The 10-minute rule can be particularly effective. When you don't want to engage in your new behavior, commit to just 10 minutes. Often, starting is the hardest part, and once you begin, continuing becomes easier. Even if you only do 10 minutes, you maintain the pattern and reinforce your identity as someone who follows through on commitments. Use implementation intentions, specific, if-then plans for challenging situations. If I feel like skipping my evening routine, then I will remind myself why I started and do just the first step. These pre-made decisions reduce the cognitive load required in difficult moments. Practice the minimum viable habit approach. On days when full engagement feels impossible, identify the smallest possible version of your desired behavior. Can't do a full workout? Do 5 push-ups. Can't meditate for 20 minutes? Take 3 deep breaths. These minimum actions maintain momentum and prevent the all-or-nothing thinking that often leads to complete abandonment. Celebrating micro-victories. During the challenging midway period, it's crucial to recognize and celebrate progress that might seem insignificant to others but represents genuine achievement for you. The person who chooses water over soda when stressed deserves recognition just as much as someone who completes a marathon. Create a victory log or record of every time you choose your new behavior over your old one. Include not just the action but the context. What made it difficult? What helped you succeed? How you felt afterward? This record becomes powerful evidence of your capability when doubt creeps in. Share your victories with supportive people who understand their significance. External acknowledgement reinforces internal recognition and helps maintain motivation during flat periods. Don't minimize your achievements or wait for bigger successes to celebrate. Remember that consistency is more impressive than intensity. The person who exercises moderately every day for a year achieves more than the person who exercises intensely for a month and then quits. Your small, consistent choices are building something substantial, even when the daily progress feels minimal. Preparing for the next phase. As you navigate through the midway test, begin preparing for the next phase of your journey. The challenges you're facing now are temporary, but the skills you're developing will serve you throughout the entire change process and beyond. Document what you're learning about yourself. What environments support your success? What emotions tend to derail you? What strategies work best for your personality? This self-knowledge becomes increasingly valuable as you face new challenges and pursue additional changes in the future. Start envisioning what life looks like on the other side of this transformation. Not just the external changes, but how you'll feel, how you'll spend your time, what new possibilities will open up. This vision can provide powerful motivation during difficult moments. Begin thinking about how you'll maintain your changes once they become more automatic. What systems need to remain in place? What warning signs should alert you to potential regression? Planning for maintenance while still building initial habits sets you up for long-term success. The midway test is not a barrier to overcome, but a crucible for transformation. Every moment you choose growth over comfort, progress over perfection, you're not just changing your behavior, you're changing who you are. The person emerging from this process will be fundamentally different from the one who began it, stronger not just in their new habits, but in their capacity to face any future challenge. Trust the process. Trust your ability to adapt and grow. Most importantly, trust that the temporary discomfort you're experiencing is the price of permanent improvement. On the other side of this storm lies not just the change you originally sought, but a deeper confidence in your ability to create any future you desire. Chapter 4: The Breakthrough and Beyond. The alarm goes off on day 18, and something feels different. Your feet hit the floor with purpose rather than reluctance. The new routine that once felt foreign now flows naturally. You catch yourself automatically reaching for water instead of that third cup of coffee, or opening your journal without the mental negotiation that plagued your first week. This is the breakthrough moment when discipline transforms into identity. The science of the final push. Days 18 through 21 represent the most critical phase of your transformation journey. Neuroscience research reveals that while neural pathways begin forming immediately when we start new behaviors, the strengthening and stabilization of these pathways accelerates dramatically in the final stretch. Think of it like constructing a bridge. The foundation work happens early, but the final cables and supports that make the structure truly stable are installed last. Dr. Maxwell Maltz's original observation about 21 days wasn't about automatic habit formation. It was about the minimum time needed for mental image adjustment. Your brain is literally rewiring itself, creating new default patterns of thought and behavior. The breakthrough phase is when these new patterns become more accessible than the old ones. During this period, your prefrontal cortex, the brain's executive center, is working overtime to encode your new behaviors as preferred responses. The struggle you felt in week 1 was your old neural networks fighting for dominance. The ease you feel now is evidence that the new networks are winning. Recognizing your breakthrough signals. Transformation often happens so gradually that we miss the profound changes occurring within us. The breakthrough phase brings subtle but unmistakable signals that deep change is taking root. Learning to recognize these signals helps you appreciate your progress and maintain momentum. The first signal is automaticity. Tasks that required conscious effort and willpower in week 1 now happen with minimal mental energy. You no longer debate with yourself about whether to do your morning routine. Your body simply begins moving through the motions. This isn't mindlessness, it's mastery. The second signal is identity shift. You stop saying, "I'm trying to exercise more," and start thinking, "I'm someone who exercises." Language reveals identity, and when your self-talk changes from tentative attempts to confident statements, transformation has occurred at the deepest level. The third signal is resistance to going back. The old way of being begins to feel uncomfortable, even foreign. Skipping your new routine creates more mental friction than maintaining it. This resistance to regression is your brain's way of protecting the new neural pathways it has invested significant energy in building. Physical signals also emerge. Your energy levels stabilize at a higher baseline. Sleep becomes more restorative. Stress feels more manageable. These aren't placebo effects, they're the measurable outcomes of sustained behavioral change. The momentum paradox. Here's where many transformation journeys falter. Success creates its own unique challenges. The momentum paradox states that the very progress that should motivate us forward can actually undermine our continued effort. Understanding this paradox is crucial for finishing strong. When change feels easy, we often interpret this as permission to relax our vigilance. "I've got this figured out," we tell ourselves, and gradually allow small compromises that erode our progress. The discipline that created the breakthrough gets replaced by overconfidence in our ability to maintain change without continued intentional effort. The paradox also manifests as goal shifting. As one area of life improves dramatically, our attention naturally turns to other areas that need work. This diffusion of focus can cause us to abandon practices before they're truly locked in, leaving us with partial transformations rather than complete ones. Combat the momentum paradox by treating days 18 to 21 not as a victory lap, but as the most important phase of the entire process. This is when you transition from actively changing to becoming someone who is changed. The difference is subtle but profound. Finishing strong, the 80 to 20 strategy. The final stretch requires a different approach than the beginning. Where the early days demanded rigid adherence to new behaviors, the breakthrough phase calls for intelligent flexibility. The 80 to 20 strategy provides a framework for maintaining progress while building sustainable long-term practices. The 80 represents your non-negotiable core practices, the essential behaviors that drive your transformation. These might be your morning routine, daily movement, or evening reflection practice. During the breakthrough phase, these core practices must remain absolutely consistent. No exceptions, no negotiations, no just this once compromises. The 20 represents adaptive elements, the specific ways you implement your core practices. Maybe your morning routine always includes meditation and journaling, but the exact time, location, or duration can vary based on circumstances. This flexibility prevents the rigidity that often causes people to abandon good habits when life gets complicated. Identify your 80% practices by asking, "If I could only maintain 3 behaviors from this transformation, which would have the greatest impact on maintaining my progress?" These become your fortress behaviors, the non-negotiable foundation that supports everything else. Build your 20% flexibility by creating multiple pathways to success. Develop a 10-minute version of your 30-minute workout. Create a travel-friendly version of your morning routine. Establish contingency plans that allow you to maintain core practices even when circumstances change. The identity integration process. True transformation happens when new behaviors become expressions of identity rather than impositions on it. The breakthrough phase is when this integration accelerates. Instead of doing new things, you become someone new, someone for whom these behaviors are natural expressions of who you are. Identity integration follows a predictable pattern. First comes behavioral consistency. You do the new actions repeatedly despite internal resistance. Next comes comfort. The actions feel natural and require less mental energy. Then comes preference. You actually want to do these behaviors rather than merely forcing yourself to do them. The final stage is identity fusion. The behaviors become so integral to your sense of self that not doing them feels like a betrayal of who you are. A person who has achieved identity fusion doesn't say, "I exercise because it's good for me." They say, "I exercise because I'm someone who takes care of my body." Accelerate identity integration through strategic self-talk. Replace "I have to language" with "I choose to language." Instead of "I have to get up early," try "I choose to start my days with intention." Instead of "I have to eat healthy," experiment with "I choose to nourish my body well." Create identity anchors, physical or symbolic reminders of your new identity. This might be workout clothes laid out the night before, a water bottle that travels with you everywhere, or a journal that holds your daily reflections. These anchors serve as external reminders of internal changes, building your personal constitution. As your 21-day journey approaches completion, begin drafting what I call your personal constitution, a brief but powerful document that codifies your new way of being. Unlike goals or resolutions that focus on what you want to achieve, a personal constitution defines who you are and how you operate. Your personal constitution should contain 3 elements: your core values, your operating principles, and your boundary statements. Core values are the fundamental beliefs that drive your behavior. Operating principles are the specific ways you live out those values. Boundary statements define what you will and won't do to protect your transformation. For example, if one of your core values is vitality, your operating principle might be, I prioritize sleep, movement, and nutrition as investments in my energy. Your boundary statement could be, I don't sacrifice sleep for entertainment or work productivity. Keep your personal constitution brief, no more than 1 page. Write it in present tense, using definitive language that assumes these changes are already integrated into your identity. Read it regularly, not as a reminder of who you're trying to become, but as a description of who you already are. The compound effect of consistency. Days 18 through May 21st not feel dramatically different from days 15 through 17, but the compound effect of sustained consistency is building exponentially. Small daily improvements don't add up, they multiply. Understanding this mathematical reality of transformation helps maintain motivation when progress feels incremental. Consider the simple act of reading 10 pages per day. After 21 days, you've read 210 pages, probably an entire book. But the real compound effect isn't just knowledge gained. It's the identity shift from someone who doesn't read to someone who does. That identity shift influences dozens of other decisions and behaviors. The same principle applies to any transformation. 21 days of better sleep doesn't just improve your rest. It enhances your decision-making, emotional regulation, physical recovery, and mental clarity. These improvements create a positive feedback loop that makes maintaining and expanding your transformation easier. Track compound effects by looking beyond immediate outcomes to systemic changes. How has your overall energy changed? What new possibilities feel available to you? How are other people responding to your transformation? These broader impacts are often more significant than the specific behavioral changes you've made. Obstacle evolution, new challenges for new you. Success brings new obstacles. The challenges you face in the breakthrough phase are different from those you encountered early in your journey. Understanding these evolved obstacles helps you navigate them skillfully rather than being blindsided by unexpected difficulties. Perfectionism often emerges as early chaos settles into routine. When change was hard, you celebrated small victories. When change becomes easier, you may start demanding flawless execution. This perfectionist trap can actually undermine progress by making your standards unsustainable. Social friction may intensify as your transformation becomes more visible to others. Friends or family members who initially supported your changes might begin feeling threatened by your progress. Comments like, "You've changed," or "Remember when you used to," are common during this phase. Boredom can sabotage success when new behaviors lose their novelty. The excitement of early transformation gives way to the mundane reality of maintenance. Without the adrenaline of challenge and change, some people abandon successful practices in search of more stimulating pursuits. Combat perfectionism by celebrating progress over perfection. Track trends rather than daily fluctuations. One imperfect day doesn't erase 3 weeks of growth. Navigate social friction by staying connected to your why while remaining compassionate toward others' reactions. Your transformation may inadvertently highlight areas where others feel stuck. Respond to criticism with confidence in your choices rather than defensiveness or justification. Defeat boredom through strategic variation within consistency. Keep your core practices stable, but experiment with implementation details. Try new healthy recipes while maintaining your nutrition principles. Explore different forms of exercise while preserving your movement commitment. The art of strategic celebration. How you celebrate your 21-day milestone significantly impacts your long-term success. Strategic celebration acknowledges progress while reinforcing the behaviors that created it. Poor celebration can actually undermine transformation by sending mixed messages about your new identity. Avoid celebratory behaviors that contradict your transformation. Don't reward 3 weeks of healthy eating with a junk food binge. Don't celebrate improved sleep habits by staying up all night. These celebrations unconsciously reinforce the old identity you're trying to change. Instead, celebrate in ways that strengthen your new identity. Reward 3 weeks of consistent exercise by investing in quality workout gear. Acknowledge improved morning routines by creating an even more enjoyable wake-up environment. Let your celebrations amplify your transformation rather than diminish it. The most powerful celebration is often the simplest: acknowledgement. Take time to consciously recognize how far you've come. Compare day 21 a day, one not just in terms of behaviors, but in terms of confidence, energy, and possibility. This acknowledgement reinforces the neural pathways of success while building motivation for continued growth. Designing your beyond, the 90-day vision. The end of 21 days is actually the beginning of your real transformation journey. The breakthrough phase should seamlessly transition into sustainable long-term change. This requires shifting from short-term challenge thinking to long-term lifestyle design. Create a 90-day vision that extends your 21-day foundation. What would your life look like if you maintained and expanded these changes for 3 more months? How would your relationships, work, health, and personal satisfaction evolve? This vision becomes your North Star for continued growth. Design specific bridges between your 21-day practices and your 90-day vision. If you've established a morning routine, how might you enhance it over time? If you've improved your nutrition, what's the next level of refinement? These bridges prevent the common pitfall of treating 21 days as a finish line rather than a starting point. Build accountability systems that support long-term success. This might involve finding a transformation partner, joining a community of like-minded individuals, or working with a coach or mentor. The key is creating external support for internal change. The ripple effect principle. Your personal transformation doesn't exist in isolation. The changes you've made over 21 days create ripple effects that extend far beyond your individual experience. Understanding these ripple effects helps you appreciate the broader impact of your commitment while inspiring continued growth. Family ripples occur as your energy, mood, and presence improve. Children especially are influenced by parental modeling. Your commitment to growth gives others permission to pursue their own transformations. Partners often report feeling more motivated and supported when one person in the relationship undergoes positive change. Professional ripples manifest through increased productivity, creativity, and leadership capacity. Better sleep, nutrition, and stress management directly impact work performance. Colleagues and supervisors notice improved reliability, problem-solving ability, and interpersonal skills. Community ripples extend your influence to broader social networks. Friends seek advice about changes they've observed in you. Your example challenges others' assumptions about what's possible. Social media posts about your journey inspire acquaintances you may never know you've influenced. Recognize these ripple effects not to feed ego, but to understand responsibility. Your transformation is both a personal gift to yourself and a social contribution to everyone whose life you touch. This awareness can provide motivation during difficult moments and purpose during successful ones. The transition ritual. Marking the completion of your 21-day journey with a meaningful ritual helps consolidate your transformation while preparing for the next phase. This isn't about celebration alone, but about conscious transition from becoming to being. Design a ritual that honors both your effort and your achievement. This might involve writing a letter to your day one self, creating a visual representation of your journey, or sharing your experience with someone who matters to you. The specific form matters less than the conscious intention to mark this transition. Include 3 elements in your ritual: acknowledgement of where you started, recognition of what you've accomplished, and commitment to continued growth. This creates a complete narrative arc while opening space for the next chapter of your development. Document your transformation story. Write down the specific changes you've made, challenges you've overcome, and insights you've gained. This documentation serves multiple purposes. It provides evidence of your capability during future difficult moments, creates a roadmap others can follow, and offers material for your own reflection and continued learning. Sustaining transformation, the maintenance mindset. The most critical realization of the breakthrough phase is that transformation requires ongoing maintenance. The question isn't whether you'll face challenges to your new way of being, you will. The question is whether you'll have the skills and mindset to navigate those challenges successfully. Develop a maintenance mindset by viewing your new behaviors as investments rather than achievements. Investments require ongoing attention and occasional course corrections. They compound over time but can lose value without proper care. This perspective keeps you engaged with your practices rather than taking them for granted. Create early warning systems that alert you to potential regression. These might include weekly self-assessments, monthly progress reviews, or quarterly goal evaluations. The key is catching small drifts before they become major reversals. Build recovery protocols for inevitable setbacks. Life will occasionally disrupt your routines. Travel, illness, work deadlines, or family emergencies can temporarily derail your practices. Having predetermined plans for getting back on track prevents temporary setbacks from becoming permanent abandonment. The mastery path forward. Your 21-day breakthrough is actually the beginning of a lifelong mastery journey. Mastery isn't about perfection, it's about continuous improvement within sustainable practices. The habits you've developed over 3 weeks can continue evolving and deepening for decades to come. Embrace the beginner's mind even as you celebrate your progress. Every day offers opportunities to refine, adjust, and improve your practices. The person who completed 21 days of transformation is different from the person who started, but both are works in progress. Consider your next level challenges. What behaviors or mindsets do you want to develop next? How can you build on your current foundation to create even greater positive change? This forward-looking perspective prevents stagnation while honoring your current achievements. Remember that mastery is not a destination but a way of traveling. The breakthrough you've experienced over 21 days is just one of many you'll experience throughout your journey of growth and development. Your new operating system. After 21 days of intentional change, you've essentially installed a new operating system for your life. Like any software upgrade, this new system offers enhanced capabilities, better performance, and improved user experience. But also, like any new system, it requires some time to fully optimize and integrate. Your new operating system includes upgraded default settings. Where you once automatically chose convenience, you now automatically consider health. Where you once defaulted to reaction, you now default to reflection. These enhanced defaults make positive choices easier and negative choices harder. The system also includes new applications, skills, and capabilities you didn't possess 3 weeks ago. You now have proven ability to create and maintain positive habits. You understand how to work with your psychology rather than against it. You've developed resilience and self-efficacy through direct experience. Most importantly, your new operating system includes better security features. You're less vulnerable to the mental viruses that previously derailed your progress. Perfectionism, all-or-nothing thinking, comparison to others, and instant gratification bias. Your improved mental firewall helps protect your progress while allowing continued growth and adaptation. The legacy of your breakthrough. As you complete your 21-day transformation, consider the legacy you're creating. This isn't about grand gestures or public recognition, but about the quiet, powerful example of someone who decides to grow and follows through on that decision. Your legacy lives in the proof you've created that change is possible. Every day you maintained your new practices, you are writing evidence against the limiting beliefs that keep people stuck. This evidence exists not just in your mind, but in your body, your relationships, and your daily experience. Your legacy also lives in the template you've created for future transformations. The skills you've developed over these 21 days, the ability to start new habits, persist through difficulty, and integrate change into identity, are transferable to any area of life you choose to improve. Most significantly, your legacy lives in the person you've become through this process. The confidence, capability, and clarity you've developed extend far beyond the specific behaviors you've changed. You are now someone who has proven to yourself that intentional growth is not just possible, but achievable. The breakthrough is complete. The journey continues, and the person writing your story has fundamentally changed for the better. This transformation, from the tentative first steps of day 1 to the confident stride of day 21, represents one of humanity's most profound capabilities, the ability to consciously direct our own evolution. You have not just changed habits, you have changed yourself. And that changed self will continue creating positive ripples for years to come. The 21 days are over. Your transformation has just begun.